Okay, so NASA's Perseverance rover just sent back something really interesting from the surface of Mars. We're talking about a clue that could, and I mean could, change everything we think we know about our corner of the universe. So let's get into it. We're going to break down the science, the skepticism, and what this all really means.
Right, let's not beat around the bush. This is the question, isn't it? Did we actually just find the first real evidence of ancient life on Mars? Or is the red planet just incredibly good at tricking us? That's what we're here to figure out.
So here's what happened. On September 10, 2025, the Perseverance rover beamed back these incredible images of rocks with these weird leopard spot patterns. And you have to understand, the location, Jezero Crater, is super important. Billions of years ago, it was a lake. You know, exactly the kind of place you'd expect to find life.
Okay, before we go any further, there's one word we absolutely have to know. Biosignature. Think of it as a smoking gun. It's a sign, could be a chemical, a pattern, whatever, that scientists look at and say, you know what, the only way this could exist is if something was alive here. And that's exactly what some scientists hope these leopard spots might be.
All right, so let's start with the really exciting possibility. This is the case for life. Are we looking at a fossilized snapshot of ancient Martian microbes?
So what's got everyone so worked up? Well, these patterns, they look kind of familiar. Right here on our own planet, when you see a mix of organic molecules and certain minerals like vivianite and greigite, it's often a dead giveaway for microbial activity. It's like we've seen this movie before, just, on a different planet.
Okay, so the theory goes something like this. Picture tiny, ancient Martian microbes. They're munching on organic stuff for food. But instead of breathing oxygen like us, they're breathing the iron and sulfur all around them. And what they exhale as waste? You guessed it, the exact minerals Perseverance is finding today, leaving this perfect little fossilized record behind.
And this quote, man, it really captures just how big this is. These chemical reactions are called redox reactions. And if that's what happened here, then we're not just looking at rocks anymore. We're looking at a history book, a literal fossil of Martian life.
So this is it. This is the great debate it all boils down to. On one side, you've got biology, the absolutely mind-blowing idea of ancient life. And on the other, you've got geology, the idea that plain old non-living chemistry could have faked the whole thing. Okay, but hold on. We have to pump the brakes a little. This is science, right? So before we can make an extraordinary claim like we found aliens, we have to do our absolute best to prove it's something, well, something boring.
And it turns out there are some pretty solid arguments for this being just geology. For starters, those key minerals can actually form without any life at all. And the organic molecules, the supposed food for the microbes, could have just been delivered to Mars by meteorites. Heck, simple reactions between rock and water over millions of years could create patterns that look an awful lot like a biosignature.
And this right here is probably the most important takeaway. Just because you find organic molecules, which are really just carbon-based compounds, it doesn't automatically mean you found life. Mars is a complex chemical factory, and it might just be really, really good at making this stuff all by itself.
So what now? We've got two completely different, totally plausible stories. How in the world, or on Mars, do we figure out which one is the right one? How do we find that final, definitive smoking gun?
Well, here's the catch. As amazing as Perseverance is, it's basically a field geologist with a lab on its back, millions and millions of miles from home. Its tools are incredible, but trying to rule out every single non-living chemical process that could mimic life, that's just too much to ask from a rover.
Which leads us to the solution. And wow, is it ambitious? It's a mission called Mars Sample Return. The only way to know for sure is to physically bring these rocks back home, to our most powerful and advanced labs right here on Earth.
And once those samples get here, scientists are going to go to town on them. They'll look for things like unique isotopic fingerprints, basically checking the atomic weight of elements to see if it's the kind life prefers to use. They'll hunt for super complex organic molecules that are just too hard for geology to make. And of course, they'll use the most powerful microscopes we have to search for the Holy Grail, a tiny fossilized cell.
So let's just zoom out for a minute, because here's the thing. No matter how this shakes out, it's a huge deal. We're at a fork in the road, and honestly, both paths lead to a completely new and fascinating understanding of Mars.
I mean, just think about it. If it turns out to be biology, that means Mars was once alive. Life isn't a fluke that only happened here. But if it's just geology,
That's almost as wild. It means Mars is a master mimic, creating a perfect illusion of life. And that would mean we have to get a whole lot smarter about how we look for life elsewhere.
Because in the end, that's what this is all about. Every rock sample, every picture, it all brings us one tiny step closer to answering that deep, fundamental question we've been asking ourselves ever since we first looked up at the stars. Are we alone?
So we know for a fact that Mars was once a world of rivers and lakes, a lot like a young Earth. But the one, final, tantalizing question remains. Was it ever a living world? The answer is out there, waiting for us, sealed inside a rock, 140 million miles away.